just me today, and today I'm going to be doing a story time. And so I have two stories. This first one is called Boys on a Mountain. And so, yeah. So, how this story goes is okay, I'll tell you guys. So, me and Charlie, her friend, her friend's sister, JC, and Colson, we were all at Grammy's apartment, and there was a hill right next to the apartment, and we wanted to go up the hill, but Grammy said no because it was getting too late. And so she said we could go play outside on our scooters, but not go up the hill because it was getting way too late for that. So we rode on our scooters, and as we rode on the scooters, JC needed us. So we had a meeting over by Grammy's door on her bench, and JC was talking about how those boys were trying to get Coulson over there and try to hurt him. So we couldn't go over there, and then she made a line out of chalk, and we couldn't go past that line of chalk because the boys were trying to get Coulson and hit him and hurt him and be mean to him. And so Coulson wasn't in the meeting, so we tried to tell him not to, but he was so far away he couldn't hear us. So he went past that line because he thought it was chalk that we drew. And he went past that line, and the boys were calling him over. So he went over to the boys, and while JC was telling us about her experiences she had with them. And Coulson went over, and they started throwing their toys at him, and you can hear bash, 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 and then you can hear him crying. And then he comes over to us. 1 second, I got it. Anyways, and then, would he please stop talking? Anyways, and then he came over to me and Callie and started giving us a big, juicy bear hug. And oh yeah, that's just a battle wound. And he just started giving us a big, juicy, big bear hug. And so me and Callie were like, buddy, what happened? And we were hugging him back and all that. And we were like, buddy, what happened? And he was like, those mean boys over there were hitting me with their toy trucks and all that. And JC was like, oh, didn't we tell you about not going past that line because they're mean? And he was like, no, you were screaming at me about something, but I was too far away. So we were like, okay, if we scream at you about something, you have to come to us because those boys are troublemakers. And so the next morning, so we all went in. The next morning, we woke up. Grammy said we can go on the hill since it's early, and the boys were still out there. But this time they were digging out something, almost like they had X-ray vision through that mountain. They were trying to look for something that they saw. So we were like, oh, those boys are still up there. We can't go up. So we told Grammy about the boys, and she was like, oh yeah, JC knows about that. So listen to her. First of all, she's the oldest, and second of all, she knows all about them. And so then they got off the mountain and started going over where we were earlier, riding on our scooters last night. And they started giggling and giggling. And so we went up the hill, and they hadn't had luck finding anything really, but yeah. And so we all went up to Callie's base to have a little meeting about them again. And so we went up to her little base in the mountains, and there were sticks everywhere. She was like, I just cleaned this out, I swear. And Callie had to just have a meeting with me, so the rest of them went. Charlie, Coulson, and JC. And so the rest of them went, and me and Callie just had a separate meeting. But we could not get into her base. It was way too long. So, or it was way too filled with sticks and all that. And I tripped over the stick when we were heading out. I tripped over a stick. I couldn't get back up. And then there was stupid me wearing sandals up the mountain, and the sandals were falling off. The boys ran up the hill again and started gathering rocks. And while Callie was trying to help me get my shoes on, he said, "How dare you climb up in our base?" And I was like, "This isn't your base. Your base is down there in the junkyard." And they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And then he was just being all sarcastic and stuff with that sorry he gave us. And then his brother came and he was like, this isn't your base. And then his big brother was like, "Yeah, we're just hiding it from them." And Callie was like, "Excuse me?" And they were like, "We said nothing." And so then the rocks that they gathered, they threw it at us. And Callie was like, "Hey, you stop that." Well, mainly they were throwing it at me. And she was like, "Hey, you stop that. I'm trying to help her." And then they were like, "Well, you shouldn't, because she's new here, and she shouldn't be. She should have been here all along, knowing what we would have done. You're all stupid." That's what he said. And then JC and Coulson and Charlie came up to us because they saw the boys, and they were like, "Guys, is something wrong?" And then the boys just left. And then Charlie went over to talk with them, and she was like, "Do you have a problem with us being there?" And he was like, "Yeah, that one brown-haired kid and that other blonde-haired kid, they're stupid." And Charlie was like, "No, they're not." And, so then, Charlie told us what they said, and JC, and so we all had to go back home, and no more help for us, because you know what happened. And then Grammy told the kids' parents, who lived right next to her, because they were in apartments, and she was like, "Your kids were beating up my grandbabies, plus their friends." And the mom was like, "My kids would never do that. My little sweethearts, did you?" And then they were like, "No." And then one of them, the younger brother, said, "What are you talking about, crazy lady?" to our grandma. And then Grammy left and told us what they said, and we told the truth, but they lied all about it. So that's all for this story. The next story is going to be called Callie Saved Me from Broken Leg. I feel like all in these two stories, Callie just has my back. This whole time, she's just like, "If you go somewhere, I will go there too, and I will protect you so that nothing does happen." And when something did happen, she would try all she could to fix it. So in this one, we were just on the tramp, right? And we were jumping, and my foot got stuck inside of those nets, and it got stuck, and I didn't know it. And Callie, and I fell, and Callie tried to save me, and I started crying, and my mom was in the shower, and I just started crying, and it was so bad, and I was 4. Wait, no. I was 6. And Kelly was like, Are you okay, Maddie? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? She was so concerned about me, and I was just like, no, you need to take me in. You need to take me in the house. So she took me in the house. Her bed was the closest in our room. So, but now it's kind of my bed. You just come in, turn, my bed. And to get to Kylie's bed, you just turn, straight, turn. So there's that. And so at the time we had, we had a bunk bed. And she laid me down on her bed and she was like, what happened? And I was like, I can't move my leg. And so she was like, good thing I carried you. And so I was just like, you need to do something. You need to do something. So she got a washcloth and what are those things called? An ice pack. And she put it on my leg. And I was just like bawling tears. Like tears. Like just pouring out of my eyes. And I was like, Kelly, I need to do something more than that. And she was like, I don't know what I can do. And then I was like, I don't know. And I just was like, just sitting on her bed, crying. And I felt so sorry for her that she had to take care of me like this, but Colton wasn't there. So I was so sad and so like guilty that she had to take care of me like this. And she was like, do you need a cup of water or anything? And then she like rubbed my head and all that. And I was like, yes, I need a cup of water. Just give me a Dasani or something out of the fridge. And so that's exactly what she did. And finally, after like my mom got out of the shower, she like thought I had a broken leg and all that, but actually I just jammed it or something. So that's all my stories today. Bye guys. By the way, my leg healed after 2 days, but I was sick, so no need to worry really about it now. And if you want to know what this is from, it's from laser tag, okay? I fell down a ramp and this happened. Yeah, I'm a pretty hard player. Yeah, I fell down a ramp. But bye guys.